Pentatonix and Elvis Presley. How did they swing this one? Was it a pre-recorded track from Elvis Presley that they used the vocals for? But then again, when Elvis died, did they have even individual tracking back then where they could strip the vocal? I don't know. Or like, did they have a clean audio from them, or how did that even work? I don't know, but I'm sure you definitely know. So let me know in the comments how Pentatonix is working with Elvis Presley in this track. I'm very much looking forward to checking this out. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jacob Restituto. I'm a musician from Northport, New York, and we got Old Little Town of Bethlehem featuring Pentatonix, or Pentatonix featuring Elvis Presley. Let's check it out. Let's see what we got. Okay, not even 4 seconds in, but that was a little cool intro. Sounded like the little vinyl crackle of when you put the needle on the needle on the thread, right? Or the needle on the vinyl, and that little, which is cool because it's almost an ode to back to like Elvis in his time period when he was, making. There was no CDs back then. You had vinyl, so like that's kind of cool. Had this old vintage sound, kind of swelled, kind of like a high pass filter kind of sound, where like the high frequencies were going through and a lot of the lows were pulled out, and then it swells into like a fullness of like modern sound. Let's listen back. That was a cool, these little touches make such a big difference, I think. Here's swell into the full sound.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie above thy deep and dreamless sleep, the silent stars move by, yet in thy dark streets shine the everlasting light, the hopes and fears of all are met in thee tonight.
This buzz is really cool. Very cool production on here. Gives a very gives an old school feel to it, like almost. I was, while filming these, I sometimes need to take little like 5-minute like brain breather breaks where like I'll just open up YouTube and watch like a couple like YouTube shorts or whatever. And the YouTube short that I just recently watched was apparently the oldest person ever filmed, like the oldest, like the old, I don't know, it was phrased very strangely, but it was one of the popes that was filmed back in, I think, the early mid to 1800s, like it was like 18 like something that he was filmed, but it made him the earliest person born because he was born in 1810. Point being, total sidetrack, point being is the fact that they had this very choir church sound music going on, and very reminiscent of that time period. And this very much kind of reminds me of, especially the Pentatonix part, with the way that their harmonies, their arranging, the way that they sit in the track, very contrasted to Elvis's, because Elvis has a more of a dry kind of direct forward sound. Theirs is big and ethereal, but it's a dark kind of sound. So the reason I say that is it almost medieval is not the right word, but if you were to picture this like medieval cathedral, almost like, remember that video, I want to say it was Mary Did You Know, when they're in either like that hallway or like almost like a castle corridor or something like that. I think with the holding the candle, it's been a long time since I saw that video. That actually might have been the first video I ever saw from them. Was it that, or was it Hallelujah? Like that I don't know, where they're holding the candles. I think it was Mary Did You Know. Don't quote me on that. That was like I wasn't even doing reaction videos at the time. That was like when they just went viral on YouTube kind of thing. Point being though is like I'm getting that like dark cathedral big sound, which is cool because it's very different than something like you might hear in like "O Come All We Faithful" with. It's like vibe and song. This has like a very classic a cappella sound with a big long reverb, but it's cool because it pairs nicely with Elvis's. Well, it's not the greatest quality recording because they didn't have great quality recording 40 or 50 years ago, so it kind of mends well. Like his voice is a little distorted because it's like they didn't have these super clean crisp microphones back then. So very cool.
For Christ is born.
For context, I'm going to pull it back to Elvis a little. You could hear the difference in quality of microphone. Just a little fuzzier.
For Christ
Crisp.
born of Mary and gathered all above. While mortals sleep, the angels keep their watch of wondering love. Oh, morning stars
Layered harmonies.
together proclaim thy holy birth, and praises sing to God the King, and peace to men on earth.
So I pray that Pentatonix has behind the scenes, because I would love to see the process of recording this actually. Just because it's big reverbs, big sounds, and it's just very well done and a very different sound. And I would love to see what their process was with this. So that being said, what was I gonna say about this? Oh, one thing that Pentatonix does really well is you hear when the harmonies came in, like they kind of drop the oohs and ahs. They do such a good job. This is only like a 2.5 minute song. But they do such a good job of keeping the listener engaged and by changing subtle things. So we had Elvis come in, and we had oohs and ahs. Then we had Mitch come in, continuing the oohs and ahs. And you would expect kind of the oohs and ahs to continue, but they drop it then when Mitch continues to sing, and now they have harmonies. And it's just these minor detail changes that keep the song going along. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, let me know in the comments if that makes sense. Where, like, it's just subtle changes that they're not drastic changes. It's not like they totally added like now it's just percussion. It's just, hey, instead of these oohs and ahs, these big ethereal sounds, we're just gonna continue the ethereal sounds, but it's gonna be a laid back harmonies, quieter, not so melodies not changing like crazy, just subtle harmonies. So like, it's just little chef's kiss changes.
Little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie.
It's a Scott and
Above thy deep empty sea, the silent stars go by. Yet in thy dark streets shine the everlasting
really interesting dynamic changes.
the hopes and fears of all years are met in thee tonight.
Very interesting production, very interesting song. I saw that it was written by Elvis Presley, and I'm wondering. I just recently watched the Elvis Presley documentary, or Hollywood documentary, with I think Austin Butler playing Elvis, and there was that scene in there where they talk about the Elvis Christmas album, and how it was controversial to some degree because he was like a rock and roller, and now he's like doing family Christmas specials, and it was really interesting just because I wonder if that song came out of it, because it's a beautifully written song. And the way he carries his voice in that song, it's beautiful. And now to see Pentatonix doing it with him is a really cool concept. Really cool, man. I like when artists do this. Kygo, it's a completely different genre, but it's an artist that does this a lot. Takes older songs or older artists we're all really familiar with, and does them in a new way. So it brings new life, I think, and it also introduces old music to new generation, which I think is really cool as well.